What's up, guys? This is Wes with Sincity Tactical, and we got Jax, the Minnesota Overlander, on. And we are starting a live stream right now. We're getting the audio set up for the anchor. Hey, what's up, Jax?
Hey, what's up, Wes? How's it going?
It's going. Another night. I know this is out of character. We're getting that, midweek live stream, man. I like it. I want to do something like this more often. If I get off early with my day job, of course, I'd like to start doing some more live streams, more than just the Saturdays. So when it comes to this, because I do have a question, and I kind of want to have this on the stream, is we got to nail down a schedule, right? I mean, obviously we don't have Griff on this one, which sucks, but we will definitely have him on one of the weekend live streams. So my question to you is, we got to set down a time. Saturdays, I'm thinking like 6 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock your time. No matter what, Saturday at that time is our schedule. So then you can talk about it on your podcast, saying, hey, check out the stream on Saturdays at whatever Mountain Time or Pacific Time or whatever. So then people know when to come check out the live stream.
Yep, definitely. And for this week, Saturday and Sunday, the Glock match is going on. So unfortunately, Griff won't be in this weekend's podcast because he'll be shooting and range officering the Glock match as well. So he did send his best, but he did tell me when we were having a conversation earlier today offline that he does look forward to Saturdays now. Usually for us, well, I know my schedule is Monday through Friday. His is Saturday through Wednesday. So then pretty much he's got Thursdays and Fridays off, and then I've got the weekend. So
and
Saturday,
Sunday, Monday off. I work Tuesday through Saturday.
Yep. And so basically Saturdays for him, is his Monday. So when he gets home from work, it's just basically before all of this was just another Saturday, kick back, not much to do. And, then now that we're all collaborating and doing this, he's actually had a different change of outlook on Saturdays, which is awesome. I feel like definitely we could do 8 o'clock for the Saturday podcast, and then throughout the week, for obvious work reasons and that, we just kind of try to shoot for, usually I get off of work about 3:30 Monday through Friday, and I'd assume you're probably working latest if there's overtime until what, 6:30, 7-ish?
Oh, man, no. During the summer, I'm out until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Started 6, out till 10, 11 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. That's that HVAC life, man, at least in the desert with how hot it is. I mean, right now it's starting to cool down. Today was only like 85 degrees, which is very cold compared to what we've been dealing with recently. We've been in the upper 111 plus degree days for the past month. And Ouch. Then we had, what was it? I think 17 record temperature days, and we had like 60 days over 100 in a row. So it was hot.
Yeah. Well, see, here today was, if I remember correctly, a high of like 46, 47 and raining.
Oh, God. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
so I think that time frame would probably work best. I mean, that's when we've been doing them before. I just kind of want to like nail down a schedule for at least the three of us, and then me and you being the heads of the divisions, we'll do our own thing.
Yeah, definitely
twice a week. I think we need to get at least 3 podcasts going a week, just so we stay relevant with everything that's going on with the world topics. I don't want to be late. Here's my thing, right? I don't want to break news. I don't want to be the first one to put news out there, but I also don't want to be so far behind the news either that were not relevant, and people are like, oh, well, I've already seen enough
Heard
of
about this.
I don't want to do that. Right. So I think that would be best for us. I mean, so you say you're off around like 5:30, so that's
Well, I'm off about 3:30. Well, I'm off about 3:30, which would be 1:30 your time.
right. Yeah, that's what I meant. So yeah, we're talking like 7:30, 8 o'clock your time is when we would have to do it. But we'll talk about that more off on the
Offline.
live stream. But that's just for you guys that are actually watching. We're trying to nail down a permanent schedule, so then we have content fluidly coming, and you can get it from all of the platforms, whether it be audio podcast only, live stream videos,
Or both.
Also, yeah, or both. You can do both. And that, is going to be separate content too. I know Jax does a lot of solo podcasts through the Anchor. And it looks like he's going to start doing some live stream videos, or at least some video content on his own, as well as I currently do the same. So little news that Tac Pack will probably be here around the 19th or 20th, something like that is when they usually come per month. Shout out to Tac Pack. That's one of the sponsors that I've got on the Sincity Tactical page, and I'm going to try to get Jax and the Minnesota Overlanders endorsed by them as well. So if you do want to pick up a Tac Pack, you can use my code SC Tactical, and they'll give you a free mystery grab bag with your first Tac Pack box. But I will say this, because I know some people have gotten upset. I got upset when I got my first package. The first one I paid for because I signed up for it, and then they started scoping out my channel and then realized that I'm a streamer or a content producer, and then decided to endorse me. So I no longer actually pay for the Tac Packs. I get them sent to me for free, just because I endorse their products. But what happens is when you pay for your product, what you'll have to do is either if you pay for it, let's say August, you're not going to get a Tac Pack until September, even if you pay for it before the August Tac Pack comes out. Right. So I know that sounds kind of funky. Like, well, if I paid for it before the August box comes, why don't I get the August box? It's because these boxes are already pre-made for the subscribers that are already currently there. You can email them and ask for them to send you a Tac Pack, as long as you purchase it early, right? It's about $50, something like that. And I know you guys have seen a couple of the Tac Pack videos. Actually, I've got one right in front of me from last month that I'll just re-show some of the stuff from the box. So they had given us a hex mag, which I don't know if you remember seeing that. They gave us some Ear Pro, a Gerber multi-tool, a carbon buildup scraper for your BCG for the AR-15, which is awesome. And some good content like that. They give you, or they gave me a bottle too, like a Nalgene bottle, which is pretty sweet. So it is a cool service. They do switch it up. Like, every box has been different for sure. Everything's been different. But enough about the Tac Pack and scheduling. I know me and Jax are excited about the merger that we've got going on, and we're trying to get as much content out to you guys about the merger as possible. So we're going to throw up on the screen here the Sincity Tactical.xyz or Minnesota
Overlander.xyz.
And so with the Minnesota Overlanders.xyz, what will happen when you type that in? It'll take you to the Sincity Tactical website, but it goes directly to their page. So then you can see and learn a little bit about Jax directly. We're still trying to get some info to put up for Griff with a photo. And then you'll also see in the navigation on the left, you'll see a spot for Sincity Tactical products. And then you'll also see Minnesota Overlanders product. Or you can click on men's as a whole, and that has both in that category too. So that you can get both products from the same spot. We've got, some pretty good deals going on right now on the merchandise, which is awesome. And then you can also sign up through the website and get newsletters, things like that, special promotional discount codes and stuff like that. So I know Jax is probably going to run some type of promotion every once in a while for his products. I know I'm going to be coming out with some of my own. And then once we get a little bit bigger and growing, which is where we need you guys, we're going to start doing like some giveaways and stuff. Get some people some free gear so we can get, everybody involved, which is ultimately what we want to do. We want to build this into a big brand.
Yeah, exactly. And so one of the ideas that I've been kind of toying around with, for when that time does arrive, not only with, discount codes as well and all that. But I know up here in Minnesota, we can only really ride about 6 months out of the year. So I figure sometime during the summertime, and I'll have to sit down with Griff too and talk about it. But we could do, a brand style run where it starts off at like a bar and restaurant and then ends up out at the gun club. And then throughout the ride from point A to point B, you can buy merchandise. There will be we'll figure out some sort of a raffle system. So this way, by the time we get to the gun club, once things start to wrap up, we can do the raffle drawing winners for some free gear as well. So there's many different options as far as that goes. I usually try, especially if I'm going to put out the websites on my Anchor podcast, throw both of them out there. I know they both go to the same site, but if it wasn't for Sincity Tactical, Minnesota Overlanders wouldn't be here. So, it's just kind of a appreciation style way of not necessarily branding, but expanding on the brand and giving credit where it's due.
And I greatly appreciate that. And I know the rest of my team also appreciates that. And we give you guys shout outs on all the podcasts and stuff like that too. So what I do want to do, as you'll now see, the Overlanders logo is up in the top right-hand corner. So you guys can get a glimpse of that logo. It is a pretty badass logo, in my opinion. I'm going to screen share the website real quick to show you guys the website and what you can physically see on the store. We're going to start with the Minnesota Overlanders page. So that's what I was saying. When you type in either his website or my website, it comes to this page. This is what you're going to see at the top is the header. But when you scroll down, we've got women's Minnesota Overlanders gear, coffee mugs, hats, long sleeves, hoodies, and there's more products to come. We're still in the works with the production company to get other styles made up right now. And then, of course, you'll see here in the navigation bar, you can click on SCT operators. That'll give you information about me and my team. And then the Minnesota Overlanders is Jackson, his team. And then you'll see Sincity Tactical products or the Minnesota Overlanders products. So we try to make the website as easy to navigate as possible. There is a message us button, so you can get a hold of me directly through Facebook. And that's attached to the website. Now we'll look a little bit at the Sincity Tactical products. So what you'll see here, t-shirts, tank tops, pull the trigger. That's a new line that I've got going right now. It's got the Sincity Tactical logo on the front. It's got a Sincity Tactical logo on the sleeve. And then it says pull the trigger real big on the back of the shirt. So that's definitely a new line that we're running. Some more tank tops and hoodies. And we've got some joggers. You got to cop some of those neck gaiter masks, right?
Oh, definitely.
Got to get one of those. We got socks. Why? I don't know. We got socks. And then, of
because
course,
everybody needs a happy one.
Not everybody wears socks, and it's pretty gross. But, we got to have it on there. And then second page, we've got stickers and pillows and backpacks and all that fun stuff, coffee mugs too. So that's a little glimpse of the website and what you can see on there. So go ahead and check that stuff out. And all right, let's move into the first actual topic. And this topic is brought to you by Jax himself.
None other than me. So basically, being as we are a Pro 2A channel, I guess realistically we should have started off with Pro 2A and what it means. So this is giving credit to a Reddit user and basically his take on the spin, and then we'll jump into our take on it. So people think that Pro 2A means owning a high point. In actuality, it's more about the attitude than owning an actual gun. But if you're for supporting regulation, then you are not Pro 2A. You are pro regulation. So basically what they meant by that is that, you can have a gun wholeheartedly and still also be pro regulation more than you are pro Second Amendment. And I guess in a way I could see where that person's coming from. However, my take on what being pro Second Amendment is having a firm belief system and the right to keep and bear arms, and that it shall not be infringed. And that basically touches on regulations in and of itself, because the government is trying to put regulations in place to take away freedoms that tie in with our Second Amendment. So to me, being Pro 2A means not only being involved in the community, going through your courses, doing your training. If you want to get your CCW, go for it. That I highly support that 110%. But if you're going to carry, do it the right way. However, don't believe every single thing you hear about the Pro 2A community as a whole because of what the media is putting out.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. We're looked at in a very bad and negative light because of our views and our values and things like that. And ultimately what it is we enjoy, not only shooting the firearms, we enjoy the preparation aspects of it too. There's a lot that goes into being Pro 2A. It's not just let me go be crazy with a gun, right? For me, what it means, Pro 2A, right, is my right to defend my freedom as an American. Because that's the last thing I want, is to have our country turn into a dictatorship, or to have, a situation somewhat, I guess I'm going to go left field with this a little bit, by saying, I don't want like a Holocaust type of situation. Now, I know that's a very broad statement that I just made by saying that, but what I mean by that is I don't want a situation where, our guns are taken from us, we can no longer defend ourselves, and what that causes is a situation where, people are being taken from their homes, they're being split up, and of course, what's going to happen? The men are going to be separated from the women and the children, and it's sad because this is something that in reality could happen, and it almost kind of looks like it's getting to the point to where it might happen because of the way that the world is, right? It only takes a martial law to be governed through all of the states at one time. And what is that going to do, right? That's going to cause your military to come in and be the police force, basically. And of course, throughout history, we've all seen what happens when the government decides to take over their country. And I'm not even just talking about us. Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, Stalin and the Russians. We can go on and on. Jim, what's his name? I forgot that dude's name.
Yeah, last name
Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un, the fucking nuclear guy. It's always threatening everybody with nukes, right?
Bro, Rook, be so scary.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us want that, right? So
No, well, exactly.
we talked about this a little bit before, but the point that I'm making is I don't even think the people who are against pro 2A or anti-gun wants that to happen. And here's the thing. As a gun owner, a gun buyer, a gun builder, and all of that, if you don't want to be around guns, you don't like guns, you want nothing to do with them, that's fine. I respect your opinion. I respect you as a person, and I respect your choices. But that does not mean that you should not respect my opinions, my choices, my values, and if I want to be around them or not. I think that's the biggest thing going on in the country right now is they say leftists, right? I was watching a video earlier where this guy was at a left like protest thing, and he was just walking around asking questions. Well, they put a bunch of people on his ass where he, was being followed by people at the event, and he was just walking up to people trying to ask them questions, and they would immediately shun him and say, "Oh, you need to leave. Da da da. We have a permit. You can't film here." And he's like, "This is federal property. I'm legally allowed to be here." And oh well, you can't talk to people and da da da. And he's like, "Okay, so now you're trying to restrict my, right to free speech, and everything else." And it just blows my mind that if you don't agree with their values, they don't want to hear shit. But if you agree with their values, they'll let you talk all day long. How is that accomplishing anything?
That's a good point, and that's something that still baffles me because let's put it this way. For instance, like I was telling you, prior to the podcast, started, my buddy who I'm going to be watching the Viking Packer game with this Sunday, he's an avid go Pack go. He's an avid Vikings fan. Now, here's the difference. We have very different opinions and views when it comes to the world of sports, but we can still sit in the same room, have a beer, and laugh and joke together the entire time without it turning into a violent altercation, without it resulting in gun violence, or pretty much being this patriarchy of, well, because you don't agree or want to root for my team, you can't come over and hang out.
Right. And it's sad because there are some people that are that way. I am diehard Packer fan, right? Probably as diehard as they come. Like I said, man, if the Packers ever disappeared, I'd have a relic because my whole left arm, literally from my wrist to the top of my shoulder, is all Packer tattoos, right? So I'm as diehard as they come. But like you said, I could literally sit down in a room with multiple people and be okay, right? And not have an issue and not have it go to that extreme. So when we talk Pro 2A and how the world reacts to it, it's once again, it's an education thing, right? We've taken the time to learn about it. We've taken the time to, get proper training and things like that. And I just wish that people would understand that we as Pro 2A people don't shun you for not being Pro 2A. We don't dislike you because you don't like guns. We don't try to, make you a third wheel in a situation because you have nothing to do with guns. If anything, we respect you for the fact that you don't like guns and you're willing to say it, and that, you're able to go, okay, I don't want a part of that. Why is that not reciprocated, right? I'm not causing you harm by having my firearm with me. And that's the biggest thing. If I draw down on you, now I physically am doing something to you. But what is the likelihood of that ever happening? You would have to get me in a seriously bad position. Like I said, growing up, I did some amateur fighting, right? Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, that kind of stuff. And played football, did a bunch of things. So there's other means for me to be able to protect myself that I would choose over pulling my firearm. If I can handle the situation by choking somebody out or punching them in the face or something, I'm going to do that first. I'm going to choose that every single time because I don't want to have to pull my gun. I don't even hunt, right? I'm not a hunter. I like shooting sports. I respect people that hunt, but me personally, I don't go hunting. It's not something that's real big out here in Vegas. If I had to do it, could I? Yes, which I think is a failure on most people's hands, but I'm not a hunter because here's my thing. I don't like gamey meat, right? Like the most gamey type of meat that I'm going to eat is like lamb, and I can't watch it be cut up and whatever else. I can't do it. I don't like eating chicken necessarily if it's got the bone on it, or like a leg, for example. I'm like, that's a chicken's knee. Negative. Not going to eat that. So it's like not something that I would be into, but will I be prepared? I think that's the big thing. I will be prepared if I had no other choice, but it's a respect thing. If I respect you for your choices, respect me for mine.
Exactly. Last thing I'm going to say on that is you haven't had any good venison meat then.
I like venison, like backstrap. I like jerky, venison jerky.
Oh yeah,
that's good. What I'm talking to about gamey is like moose. I don't like moose. Moose, I don't like.
Haven't had it, but
huh?
I said I haven't had it, but I've had bison. Bison's pretty good.
I don't think I've had bison. I mean, it's hard to come by any of those type of things in Vegas, anyways, right? Unless it's in a jerky type of form. But my grandpa and my uncle, they're hunters. They own property actually in Minnesota, right off the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. So they go up there like once a year and they'll go hunting. They got deer stands on the land and stuff like that, which is why I said you might possibly see me real life at some point. I think we're trying to plan a Christmas trip to Wisconsin, get a cabin, and enjoy Christmas in the snow, because that doesn't happen here very often either. It snowed not this last year that happened, but the year before that, so that was pretty cool. But you see snow here, you think the world's about to end.
Yeah, that's crazy. What it was like when I was in Georgia and over on the East Coast. It got like that much snow, state of emergency, everything shut down.
Oh man, people don't know how to drive if it rains out here because it doesn't rain very often. We might get 7 or 8 inches of rain a year, and when it does snow, it doesn't stay snowy enough to stay on the ground for very long. It melts almost right away. Right, you'll get the snowflakes; it'll come down, but that's once every like 15 years. So it's rare when that actually happens here. But I want that white Christmas, and going to Wisconsin would be fun, especially because I do want to hit a Packer game at some point. I've been to Lambeau Field. I've been through the Hall of Fame tour. I did the stadium tour, did all that stuff. We showed up a day before a preseason game, so I never got to see it. I've never seen a Packer game live.
Wow, yeah, neither have I, and unfortunately, due to the COVID shit, Sunday's game is here in Minnesota, but guess what? Minnesota's not allowing fans in the stadium.
Right. That's crazy. So I do a lot of fantasy football and stuff too, right? So I got my fantasy leagues and got all that stuff set up, and I'm listening to these different sports podcasts and stuff like that through the days too. And it's crazy the way that the world is right now with the COVID stuff going on. But to the topic at hand, right? Pro 2A, like we said before, Second Amendment, it's for a well-regulated militia, which would be me, Jax, or anybody else who is a civilian that owns a firearm. That makes us a well-regulated militia. What did the Founding Fathers create that Second Amendment for? Was to protect the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment is what keeps us 100%, free. And then we have that backup for the First Amendment, right? First Amendment gives us the right to speak our minds, have our opinions, say what we want to say. And then Second Amendment gives us the right to defend that freedom.
Yes, sir.
You take our guns away, you take away our freedom. You take away our freedom, we're a third world country again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And obviously, we haven't been a third world country in an extremely long time. But, and I guess you can't even really say third world country because I don't think it ever was that bad. But we'd turn into a third world country in my mind, if I can't do what I want to do and I'm on a strict schedule, and it would be like being at work forever.
Yep.
I'm not trying to do that. I'd move to Canada. Straight up, I'm going to Canada. If that ever happens, I'm getting the hell out of here. Or Mexico, right? Because I think it's, what is it? $400 a week is like 3,000 pesos a week in Mexico. And, you can go be rich down in Mexico. But then you have cartels. And you think gun violence in America is bad. Go down to Mexico.
Down there.
Right. Go deal with the cartels and the corrupt police force. And, you get pulled over and you go, okay, well, here's $50. Does that get me out of it? No. Okay. Here's 100. How about that?
No.
They have a price. That shit don't happen here. You're going to jail for bribery if you try that shit out here.
Exactly.
So, do you have anything else you want to lead off with when it comes to the Pro 2A, or you want to move on to the next one?
No, I think we're pretty covered on that for right now, brother.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. So this is a topic that I wanted to bring up, right? And this kind of plays on that gray line, right? It's not black, it's not white, it's in the middle. Fighting rifle setups. Now, when I say fighting rifle setups, I am not talking about taking your rifle, going outside and committing mass murder. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what the anti-gunners are trying to get rid of, right? The assault rifle stuff. That's what I want to talk about a little bit when it comes to a fighting rifle setup. And I said this on a previous podcast. If you try to go to war with an AR-15, you're stupid, right? Because that is not a fighting rifle, not a battle rifle, I guess I should say. Could I fend off, 20, 30 people in a civilian, setting? Yes. But when it comes to combat, like actual combat, negative. That's definitely not going to happen. So the reason why I put fighting rifle setups is because I want to talk about the gear that's involved with a fighting rifle setup, which are things that civilians can get for their civilian AR-15s, which is Armalite, not assault rifle. And I will say it just like that every time we say Armalite, because I want to ingrain that into as many people as possible. It's not an assault rifle. So we've got tactical lights, right? Whether it be infrared or white light, right? Then you have nods, your night vision. You have thermal nods, which is even more badass.
Yeah, I've played with those.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm telling you what. And here's the thing: night vision really actually isn't that good unless you have a lot of illumination. Now, when I say illumination or looms, right? We're talking you need a moon to be out. You need backlight. If you're trying to use night vision in shadows, you ain't gonna see shit. So you have to have that illumination. That's one of the big things. So most crimes and stuff happen at night, right? At least gun-related crimes are more likely to happen at night than during the day. So night vision is something that civilians can get their hands on. You're going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to do it, but you can do it, right? So that type of stuff is out there. You can get it. You can get combat helmets, which you're looking at $1,500-$1,600 for something like that, at least for a good one. Or you can go airsoft, get a $45 one. Looks the same, not the same.
No.
Definitely not going to benefit you in a.
Funny story about that. So a battle buddy of mine had lost theirs, right? Turn around the next drill, we had range for qualification. Shows up with one of those airsoft ones off a Wish.
Oh, God.
And tries to pass it off as a real Kevlar.
Oh, dude, that's another personality that I like to attack I don't say attack. I don't want to say attack. That's a bad word. That I like to, in my mind, make fun of when I see these people show up at the gun range with fake stuff, right? Like there's EOTechs out there that are fake, and there's some really good ones, but then there's some also really bad fakes out there. And it's funny to me when I see people walk into the gun range with fake attachments. And that was kind of part of this whole fighting rifle setup, right? So night vision, then you've got tactical helmets, tactical vests, stuff like that, thigh rigs, boots, tactical pants, anything 511 tactical, right? That's all fine and dandy. But then we talk about optics. You have red dot, you've got holographic, you've got iron sights, you've got my favorite one that's coming soon, right? So I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. You got offset iron sights, scopes, actual scopes, magnifiers. There's a bunch of things, right? So when we talk about all these different attachments, I guess this is going to be a question directly for you, Jax. Okay. I want platform, I want attachments, I want full build. What would be your fighting rifle setup?
Well, let's just play off of a hypothetical situation.
Hypothetically, you could buy it right now.
Yes. Well, let's say I had all the money in the world to buy it right now. I'd go with the AR platform, very similar to the M4 platform that I use in the service. So something that I know is going to be reliable in the long run. I would take and use my personal favorite scope, the ACOG.
Oh, yeah.
And then instead of it being gas cooled through the tube, I'd have it air cooled. However, for a light attachment, if I really had to throw something on there on the Picatinny rail, I'd probably go side mounted green dot laser.
Yeah. Sweet.
Very easy to see during the daytime. Very easy to see at night. However, I like to try to stay away from lasers as much as possible. Pros to it: helps you in low light shooting, helps you get on target quicker. Cons to it: even though you can sight it in the heat of the moment, on the upstroke, especially if it's got buttons on it, you might not be able to hit that button in time to get it on. Secondly, it gives away where you're shooting from. So if I really had to go just bare brass knuckles, it'd be just the AR-15 platform with the ACOG. And then I'd keep a little tactical light on my war belt.
Sweet. Well, I'm going to give you mine. So basically, same kind of setup, right? AR platform, but I would go full on M4 with free float barrel or M16, whatever. Free float barrel. Now, barrel length, right? Because I think that's important. 16 inches, you're hitting out there, 500 yards plus with ease, right? Then you go 14 inches, 14 and a half. You can still get distance out of it, but it's not really close quarters combat, right? My preferred barrel length, because I've got multiple different ARs personally that are all different lengths. I have the full length 16-inch barrel. Then I have my favorite barrel, AR-wise at least, and we're talking 5.56, 223 rounds, is 11 and a half. Why 11 and a half, right? Because at a 16-inch barrel, now we're going to get nerdy here with statistics and ballistics and stuff like that. 16-inch barrel, way more velocity on that bullet. It's going to be a straighter flight pattern It's going to have less drop over distance. Overall, you're going to get the best performance with a 16-inch or longer barrel, right, when it comes to velocity and impact. But the 11.5-inch barrel, and I run personally a Roscoe 11.5-inch purebred barrel, which is a pencil barrel, which is nice, very slim. I can put a very low-profile gas block on it, which is nice. What it is for me, though, it's CQC capable, right? So I've got a short enough barrel on an AR platform, which now technically we're getting into AR pistol sizes or SBR type of sizing here, right? 11.5, I can still hit out 300 yards with ease. I can still hit that 500 yards. I'm just going to have to account for gravity and distance significantly when I'm scoping it in, right? But I can turn corners in hallways. I can turn corners in, outside of buildings, inside of buildings. It's got maneuverability that the 16-inch you're just not going to get. You're going to be smacking barrels on door jams and everything else trying to move through the building. So I know I talked a lot real quick just on barrel, right? So free float barrel. I like the Fortis night rail. That's one of my favorite handrails. But now let's talk attachments. Surefire light with pressure pad. Got to have that. I want Magpul M-Bus Pros, the flip-up iron sights. Not the offset, though. I do have a set of the Pro offsets on a different gun. But regular iron sights, of course, if I was going to go anywhere sight-wise, it'd be either EOTech, ACOG, or like a Leopold type of scope. Now, 11.5 barrel with a Leopold scope. I'm talking like 1 to 10 scope, right? Imagine that real quick. That's a fucking pack. That's a package right there. Now, do you keep it set to full magnification for 10, or do you set it to 1? Now, if you're trying to go into close quarters combat and I'm set to 10, I have to flip out to 1, or if I'm at 1, I'm going to have to flip out to 10 to be able to get my target at longer distance, right? So then here's my idea. You get an offset, like M-lock type of rail piece, a little small rail piece. You run a scope on top, and you have an offset red dot on the side. So instead of having offset iron sights, I have my scope here for long range, and literally a quick turn, I can get red dot. So now I have QCQ or CQC combat close range ability, which is quick picture with a red dot sight. But then I also have my scope on it for long range. If I need to, I can still clear houses and everything else. I like an AFG, an angled foregrip on the front, because you cannot technically put a vertical foregrip on an AR pistol. It makes it an SBR, so that's illegal. Don't do that. So AFG is the way to go, or a hand stop. You could do that. I like a SB3 tactical brace. Those are fun. I like those a lot. And then let's see. So we talked Leopold scope, offset red dot sight instead of iron sights, M-Bus iron sights if I needed it, which is crazy, but I would need it. Redundancy is a really big thing, right? So with all of that combined, for me, that's my fighting rifle setup.
I like that setup.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next topic here. Okay, what is a GF topic? Explain that to me.
Okay, George Floyd.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so that's the fighting rifle setups. We're going to move on to the next category here that we've got, and it is Jax. Go ahead, take it away.
All right, so shortly before the podcast today, we were talking, but before we were talking offline, I got a alert from Fox 9, which is a Minnesota news channel up here, and they have a full story written out on fox9news.com about the 13 people fired for improperly assessing George Floyd's death. However, the one thing I did kind of quickly glance at and read is that they covered his name for confidentiality under Bronze, Tennessee, and something happened where it leaked out and got publicized, and then because it was publicized, it violated HIPAA. So in turn, being that it violated HIPAA, the medical examiner that wrongly assessed the situation, and the 12 other people that were involved with that situation were fired from the Hennepin County Medical Center.
Damn, man, that's crazy. So
yeah,
we've got a commenter, Mr. Adam McNair. He has commented, and we're going to throw this up on the screen here. It says, talk brass to me. So, brass, are you talking ammo directly, or what exactly do you want to hear about brass? Sorry, we're just going to wait and see what kind of response we get from Adam. But in the meantime, I mean, we'll finish the conversation about the George Floyd thing. So you're saying that 13 people were fired because they took the situation and basically jumped to conclusions.
That is correct.
Okay, you want to elaborate a little bit, like pull up some info on that?
Oh, God. One second.
No problem.
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Not sure if it's recording, but whatever. Anywho, significant other called in. That's why phone's acting weird. So, with that being said, where were we at?
No, I was asking you to kind of elaborate a little bit more on the George Floyd topic and how they, basically jumped to conclusions, which led to them getting fired. And do you have any more information like that you can pull up to give the viewers a little bit more of an idea of that stuff while we wait for Adam to come back on with his comments?
Matter of fact, here, let me just
see if I can't get some information. Let's see. 13 people fired for improperly assessing George Floyd's medical info under Bronze, Tennessee. Some word that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I did not, get a major in English. So big words, can't do that. Unfortunately. Okay. Let's see here. I got some information up. At least 13 people, many of them black, have been killed in the past week as Americans flood city streets to protest police brutality. The death toll based largely on a list compiled by the Associated Press, which don't read everything you see, or don't listen to everything that you hear, don't believe everything that you read, right? So comes as protests swell. Let's see if we can't find direct information. Okay. Nope, that's just it's talking about individual people who have
Here's
died.
what I got.
So that is definitely not what we were trying to do. Did you find anything?
Yep. So I did pull it up. Yep, I did. And matter of fact, I will copy and send it to you here so you can read what I'm reading.
We lost your audio. Or I lost your audio on Anchor.
Okay.
So, sorry, I lost your audio on Anchor.
Interesting, because I can still hear you through my headset.
Okay, I'm starting to hear you a little bit now.
Here, let me just resend through here.
Okay, yeah, I should be able to hear you now.
Okay, because now I'm getting double of what your voice, but it's all good. Yeah.
Okay.
I think what happened is when the old lady called, it like half canceled the last audio.
That's all good. Give me 1 second. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I was in a double podcast thing with you. That was weird. It was echoing. Okay, we got that fixed. So let's see. The website, Fox 9. Oh, Fox is 5 here. So that's weird.
And health people assess Floyd's private health information under the name Bronze, Tennessee. The internal investigation found 5 of those cases were legitimate medical reasons, but 13 of those employees, 3 nurses, a lab tech, a social worker, and a paramedic have been fired by Hennepin Healthcare. The terminated employees may still seek a grievance or are, however you pronounce the word, I believe it's arbitration, because obviously they got fired. However, since it was a violation of HIPAA, the federal healthcare privacy law, the hospital was required to contact Floyd's next of kin. According to the family's attorney, Floyd's family received a letter notifying them of the data breach, and basically were told that the employees no longer work with the organization. But it is unclear if they were fired or left voluntarily. The lawyers say they're not sure what type of information was assessed. The legal team is exploring all of our remedies in response to the data breach.
Wow. So I'm going to throw a video up on the screen. So it's a 2-minute video. We'll just kind of be quiet while that video plays. And we're going to pull this up now. And start it from the beginning.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Randy Meyer. Fox 9 has learned 13 Hennepin Health
pause and reset this real quick.
Care employees have been.
Oh man, of course we're having
new tonight
difficulties. Okay, let me get the screen. Okay, it should be up now. I'm going to play that video now.
Hennepin healthcare workers fired for improperly accessing George Floyd's medical records. Now Floyd's family says that they are weighing their legal options. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kelsey Carlson.
And I'm Randy Meyer. Fox 9 has learned 13 Hennepin healthcare employees have been fired for their actions.
And Fox 9's Sarah Danik is live outside HCMC in Minneapolis tonight. And Sarah, these were not people who should have been looking at Floyd's medical records.
Yeah, exactly. We have learned that some of the employees who accessed those records weren't even here at this hospital campus where George Floyd was brought. We've also learned that Mr. Floyd's family is looking at all of their options now.
On Memorial Day, when George Floyd was brought to the emergency room of Hennepin Healthcare, he was listed under a pseudonym, Bronze, Tennessee. something that is done in high-profile cases to conceal a patient's identity. A source with direct knowledge tells Fox 9 Hennepin Healthcare performed an audit and discovered that a total of 18 people accessed Floyd's private health information under the name Bronze Tennessee. The internal investigation found 5 of those cases were legitimate medical reasons, but 13 of those employees, which includes 3 nurses, a lab technician, a social worker, and a paramedic, have been fired by Hennepin Healthcare. Because it was a violation of HIPAA, the federal healthcare privacy law, the hospital was required to contact Floyd's next of kin. Lawyers representing the Floyd family say they were recently made aware of a data breach of George Floyd's confidential information, and that the letter from Hennepin Healthcare noted breaches of Floyd's data over multiple dates. It went on to say the employees involved were no longer with the organization. The lawyers say they're not sure what type of information was accessed and that their team is exploring all options. At this time, it is still unclear when the employees looked up the record, or if they even knew it was George Floyd's records. A Hennepin Healthcare spokesperson tells Fox 9 they are not commenting on any specific cases, but says it is routine to conduct privacy access audits, and that any access to electronic medical records in their system is tracked and logged. If a breach of patient confidentiality is discovered, it is investigated, and disciplinary action can include termination.
And those Hennepin Healthcare employees who were fired might seek still a grievance and arbitration. We are live tonight in Minneapolis. Sarah Danek, Fox 9.
News now from Fox. Experience breaking news as it occurs.
All right, so that was the clip from Fox 9 News. We do not own any rights to that video. That was solely for media purposes, to give you guys information about the 13 people that were fired for falsely assessing George Floyd's death. Okay, so that's what that clip was. Like I said, we do not have any copyrights or anything. That is definitely their material. We used it only in the facet of news outlet and media information. So let's see if Adam is back on and can elaborate a little bit more on his question. Let's see. And I know the comments are a little bit delayed. Coming in. So if you hear some pauses and stuff like that, that's because we're trying to get to interacting with the viewers.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So the brass. What he was asking about when it comes to brass, I think he's talking specifically more here in Vegas, where to find the ammo. So 9mm or any handgun type of ammo right now is extremely hard to find. Controlled pair munitions. John commented in saying hello to you, Jackson. I'm assuming that's to you.
Well, hello, Jonna.
So, ammo, yeah, very hard to find. Controlled pair munitions, they do have ammo most of the time. They try to get shipments in like once a week. 9mm still hard to come by even for them. Usually they'll have your 5.56, stuff like that, but everything obviously is inflated in price right now, not because he wants it to be, but because of the prices, right, that he's having to pay just to even get the ammo to begin with. Sportsman's Warehouse, I still have yet to see any handgun ammo on their shelves. They've got some rifle ammo and stuff like that. There's a website called Ammo Depot, I think it's called. Let's see. I'm going to Google that real quick and Jax, I don't think I can hear you again on the
Oh,
anchor.
that's probably because I'm not talking.
Let me see. Ammo Depot. Let's see if that's what it is.
Can you hear me now?
Products. No, that's definitely not it. Well, there are places that you can find the ammo online and get it sent to you. It's going to cost you a little bit more because you're shipping ammunition, and they have to have a special license and stuff to do that, because obviously you can't ship like alcohol and lighters and things like that. Anything that explodes, they're not going to take through the mail just normally. So finding ammo is hard right now, but if you can find it, stockpile it. Don't just go willy-nilly start shooting everything. Conserve your ammo, because we don't know when it's going to come back to the shelves like normal. Jax, how's it up there in Minnesota?
Well, like Griff said, coming by 9mm, still hard to find up here. 5.56, I'm not too sure on. I haven't seen hardly any in store. However, my best solution for our viewers is, if you are within budget range and are capable of doing self-round reloading yourself at home, definitely get the load data sheet first, because you don't want to put too much powder in and blowing it back in your face. But definitely you can do 5.56 reload, 300 blackout reloads, 9mm for sure, 40, 45. So that'd be my solution.
Yeah, reloading is something that I disconnected the anchor completely. I'm just going to mute and unmute my mic on the computer so we're not getting an echo on the feed. Yeah, reloading is something that you could look into. As far as I know, it's pretty expensive to get started, but once you get started, it shouldn't be too bad to get everything going. Sorry, I'm trying to tell Jax that he can turn his audio on the computer back on. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to try to mitigate the echo when you go to talk. I'm going to mute my mic on the computer and back and forth for now, because we had technical difficulties with the audio on the anchor. But reloading, it's something that you can look into. It's something that I'm interested in doing, but I also believe that that's not something that you go cheap on. So research it, find out what you want, but buy good equipment. Do a lot of research. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there about reloading, and I think Jax will actually have more information about that, at least material-wise, stuff like that. So I'm going to let Jax talk about that a little bit more.
So, a good portion of the reloading, basically, you want to get load data. You don't want to go out and just try to do it first go around with no knowledge of how to even put an entire round together. It could end pretty drastically if you do so. So, you got your debulger machine to debulge rounds after you obviously clean the brass, because you don't want to put dirty brass in and try to load that. That wouldn't be too good either. You want a nice clean platform to start from, like anything that you're building with. Build it up, get it all put together. Once you get it, all cleaned up and through the debulging system, then you have other machines that you can use, especially if you're doing 40 and 45, that by a hand crank will put in your firing cap or your blast cap, whatever you want to call it here for lack of terminology all over the board here. I'm sure people call it different things. Then you got obviously your gunpowder that you measure out, and you want to make sure that you have the right amount in. Once you get your actual bullet portion, the projectile, seated in there and cinch down, you got a full round. So, like I said, definitely if you're going to look into reloading on your own at home, first figure out what round you want to do. Probably the cheapest rounds to do, from my knowledge, would be ones like 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 ACP, definitely 5.56. But before you get the load data for anything, decide that first. Get your load data so you know what you're doing and not ending up in a situation where you could drastically either blow your face off or blow the gun up entirely.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap up today's podcast. And we're going to close this one out. Don't back out so we can have a little conversation out of this. Thanks, guys, for watching. And we'll catch you on the next one.